Welcome to the Good Ride, where it's not about my pride. It's just about how the Cardiff Powgoda rides. And this is new for 2026. To give you a short summary, because of the havoc the tariffs have wreaked on the snowboard industry, Cardiff was one of the few to put a plan in place, and they moved from GP87 in China, which was a great factory, found a factory in North America, which is great because they had to make new molds. They redesigned all their boards. This is still that same Powgoda I loved in the past, but it's now a little wider, a touch more directional. They still have the Setback inserts. It has a new core. It's a touch heavier, but it has more pop than the old Powgoda. It has more dampness and hard uneven snow, but unfortunately it has that same bucky, bouncy nature like a car with bad shocks in soft uneven snow, and that's its one problem. Everything else about this board is exceptional. The way it turns, the way it feels, it grips well. It's a great backseat carver and groomer turner, better than it was before, and it was pretty good back then. It has more float than it did before because of this extra width. So other than soft uneven snow performance, this is an exceptional board, and it could be right for you. So I rode this with Union Force bindings and Nitro Team BOA boots. I got this in a wide variety of conditions, even got a little powder, but we had a horrible year this year. Our powder days were few and far between. They got tracked up quickly and they were never that deep. So I didn't get to stress test it like I did past Powgodas, which is a shame, but I know those old ones really well. So I have a good enough idea to put out an in-depth review, and you can check out some of the boards I compared this against on Patreon. But I got this in hard uneven snow, okay powder, decent groomers, and firm but edgeable, fast, fun groomers as well. So this is an honest, objective review for you, the consumer, and Cardiff has no say in what I say. I can do that thanks to your support, but also thanks to our sponsor, Blower Board Shop, who has a brick and mortar along with an online presence. And they've been selling to snowboarders longer than most resorts have been allowing snowboarders. So if you want to give your hard-earned cash to a great shop, try to click through our links to Blower Board Shop first if you buy something, because they deserve it. Now let's talk sizing. They made the 158 this year a good bit wider than the older 58. In powder and good groomers, this feels great, but it's a little harder for me to control and turn and throw around when conditions were uneven. I think I like the old 58 for that better. And for me too, this reference stance with the 158 is really wide for my short legs. I could only use the front one and not the back one. Now, when it comes to durability, there aren't a lot of battle scars from this very thin top sheet, so that's good. There are some little cosmetic imperfections where the top sheet meets the sidewall. The weight's a little heavier than it was in past years, but there's more pop. They put a urethane tail block where they used to have steel. The problem with having steel is when they did the base grind before production, the steel got into the base, and that's why the base had a grayish tint to it. So now with this urethane, it doesn't come down into the base. So the base looks blacker, more clean, and this helps with impact better than the metal they had here before. I thought it might affect the speed because this is a little more sticky and has less glide, but I put some wax on it and I never felt it once. Now, when it comes to shape, this is very tapered, very directional. There is a big ass nose. It seems even bigger than before. And then a touch even smaller tail. This is on that border between alternative freeride and snow surf. When you're on reference stance with this board, it feels a little more alternative freeride. But if you set it all the way back on the Setback inserts, it starts to have that snow surf feel. Now, when it comes to camber, this has a mellow camber going all the way to about the front insert, and then it starts rising up. There's a decent amount of camber, but this board I got is a demo model and it has a twist. This side rises up. The production model should not have that. And this happens sometimes with demos. That being said, when I was weighted on it, I didn't feel the twist, which was good. If you get a twist, send it back. But this is very stable, very forgiving for a committed intermediate on up to an expert. Now, when it comes to edge hold, there is a slight disruption in the side cut over each insert, and it really helps make this an excellent hard snow board. This could almost be an icy snow specialist. So if you ride on the East Coast, but want to head out west and have an amazing floater, this could be a great choice. Let's talk Powgoda Flex here. It has an almost medium-ish flex to it, and down towards the tail, it's medium stiff, bordering on stiff. Same between the feet here, but as you get to this rocker area, it just really bends easy, and that is where all the flex is coming from. So overall, it's medium stiff, bordering on stiff with a soft nose. So it's a super POW-friendly nose. It's super easy to butter on. The tail's a little less easier to butter, and then you get this pop though, that's pretty good, especially for having such a mellow camber. It's a really easy board to ollie with and get air with, even though you're so set far back. When it comes to uneven snow, this is a mixed bag. The Cardiff Powgoda is a champ in hard uneven snow, that micro bumpy snow that can sometimes create chatter and make a board feel cranky. This just absorbs that like a champ. In soft, thick, uneven snow, this is unruly. It bounces and bucks around like a car with loose shocks. It didn't completely break the deal for me, but it's something you need to know about and be concerned about if you see a lot of thick, soft, uneven snow. This often stood out as the worst board in soft, uneven snow in same-day comparisons. I'd love to see them figure out some way to fix that, because that would put this board at the top of my recommendations list. When it comes to turn initiation, I was surprised at how well this turned for my size 9 boots in a 58, especially being wider than the old 58. And you never feel the tail behind you turning through tight spots. And it turns very quickly on groomers if you're sized right as well. And when it comes to weighting your turns and carving, this is a very good carver. I couldn't believe how well it turned for being such a backseat camber. But here's the thing, this front foot area, the camber stops and it starts to early rise. So you're not really engaging the camber over the front foot and getting that spring out of the turn, and it can feel a little washy. But what I really liked was setting it up posy and putting a lot of weight on my back foot, but really leaning into the forward part of my back foot and engaging this part of the side cut. It really lit it up and made it drive down the line more. Then if I back foot weighted and leaned back into this side of my back foot and really tried to engage this side of the edge more, it had a more circle carvy, springy turn. So it was really fun to play around with the weighting on this board. And in terms of the turning radius, you can make a wide variety of turns with this. It loves a circle carve. It loves an across the groomer carve, and it loves medium radius turns. But what really surprised me is on a firm, fun, edgeable, fast day, how well this handled going straight. And I think it's because you're not really engaging a lot of this entry in the side cut because there's rocker there. So it's not as turny as it looks. You can really point it and it's not gonna fight you. It was really fast. It's much better than you would think, especially on groomers. And powder, this side cut's gonna come into play. It's not gonna be as straight liney, but it's gonna be better than you would think. When it comes to base glide, I was really concerned when they switched factories because GP87 has the best bases out there. I'm not worried anymore. This is a fast, easy gliding, wonderful base that kept its speed just as fast as the fastest of the fast bases out there. It's really well done. It holds its wax pretty well too. I waxed this, but it hasn't gone too dry after several days on it. So it's got good wax retention for sure. When it comes to POW float, this is exceptional even on reference stance, if you want to ride more centered, you have bigger lines, you want more tail, you want more landing gear, you can set it up closer to reference and still get amazing directional float. But it has these setback inserts, which I love. I wish they were on the Crane, the Goat, the Lynx, but I love that they have it here on the Powgoda and the Swell. If you can utilize these setback inserts, they're pretty wide for the 58. I couldn't, but I set this one all the way back and then found my stance width about right here, and it still had incredible easy float. I wish I could have gotten this in the deep like I got the old ones, because this wider width is going to handle deeper snow that we often see at Mount Bachelor much better than the old one. This is an excellent dedicated POW board. There's only a few boards that I like better than this, and you can do so much worse. So this is great there. So overall, this Cardiff Powgoda, it's amazing in hard uneven snow and hard conditions. It floats well, it has amazing grip, it has a fast base, and it's incredible on groomers. So if you can live with that soft uneven snow performance, everything else about this is amazing.